How did Opay do it? At this point, it doesn't matter whether you are into software engineering or not. I'm very sure that you have probably wondered how Opay manages to credit someone immediately you hit the send button. Before the coming on of Opay, Nigerian businesses and customers struggled with sluggish bank transfers. Traditional banking system has always been very slow in most parts of Africa. Then Opay came into the space and changed the game entirely. Now, considering how fast the Opay app is in Nigeria, you might be forced to think that this is the fastest fintech app in the world, but it is not. Apps like Alipay in China, Venmo in the US, Paytm in India, and Revolut in Europe are faster than the Opay app. Now back to the question, how did Opay do it? Before we dive into revealing Opay's secrets, let's examine the key factors that influence how quickly and smoothly a fintech app can process transactions. The first on my list is infrastructure proximity. The closer a company's servers and data center are to its users, the faster the transaction speed. Proximity can reduce latency by 40% because data doesn't have to travel long distance. Opay has leveraged this principle by hosting its backend in Lagos, which is very close to Nigeria's core financial infrastructure. Transaction type can also determine an app speed. Not all transfers are created equal. Wallet-to-wallet transactions are faster than wallet-to-bank or bank-to-bank transfers because they occur within a single platform internal system with no external banking rails required. Alright? Now, regulatory environment is another factor. Some of the regulatory factors that slows down most transactions in Nigeria are government policies, fraud detection protocols, and compliance checks. However, the Central Bank of Nigeria has mandated a 15-second rule for instant payments. So now the question still remains, what makes Opay so fast? Now, Opay's transaction speed is not magical, neither is it luck. It is as a result of efficient technologies, smart system design, and clever financial engineering. Now, let's identify the key factors that have made the Opay app feel extremely fast when it comes to financial transactions. The first factor we need to look at is the tech stack that Opay used. Opay carefully chose technologies and tools optimized for financial transactions. Some of these technologies that Opay used are, number one is Golang, alright? Opay used Golang for core transaction processing due to its high concurrency and low latency. Opay also used Java and Kotlin for Android and banking services integration. Then Opay used Python for fraud detection and data analysis, alright, in real time. Then Opay used Redis for caching wallet balances in real time. It also used Postgres, which is a reliable database for storing transaction record with ACID compliance. Then Opay also used RPC, which stands for Remote Procedure Calls, and it is used to handle internal service-to-service communication, and it reduces latency. Alright, RPC by default is 10 times faster than REST. Opay also uses Apache Kafka for handling transaction queuing and batch settlement efficiently. Then Opay also uses Kubernetes for autoscaling during peak hours, for example in weekend and in holidays. Now, this tech stack ensures that Opay can handle millions of transactions daily without slowing down. Another key factor that influences transaction speed in Opay is wallet-to-wallet transfers. Wallet-to-wallet transfer means that money is moved from one user's digital wallet to another user's digital wallet within the same platform without touching a banking account or external payment rail during the core transaction process. Wallet-to-wallet transfers in Opay happen at the speed of lightning, and this is mainly because Opay uses its own internal ledger system to manage transactions. Wallet-to-wallet transfer does not require any API calls or sending of requests to external services. It is just like updating two rows in the database. In fact, it can happen under 50 milliseconds. That is to show you how fast it can be. And it is also ACID compliant in the sense that both debit and credit must either succeed together or fail together. There is nothing like partial success. Now, Opay also uses in-memory databases such as Redis, alright, so for caching wallet balances in order to ensure that it is always available. That is why each time you click on the eye icon on the Opay app to see your balance, it does not load at all, alright, because the balance has already been pre-cached. But if you click on the eye icon to view your balance on most traditional banks, it might load or refresh the page before showing your balances. So Opay tries to keep the user balance in the RAM so that you can access it in microseconds. And also, Opay's API architecture is highly optimized. As I mentioned earlier on, Opay uses RPC for internal communications between services. RPC is very swift and it reduces latency by more than 70%. Now, here's the gist. When using the Opay app, you almost cannot differentiate between wallet-to-wallet transfers and wallet-to-bank transfers, because transferring funds from your Opay account to a traditional bank account, let's say for instance, moving money from Opay to Zenith or even Zenith to Opay is still very fast. Alright, so I will give you a couple of reasons why it is like that with the Opay app. Firstly, Opay directly integrates with national payment systems such as the Nigerian Instant Payment Service and the Bank Payment Settlement System through the Nigerian Interbank Settlement System, NIBSS. The Nigerian Instant Payment Service ensures that transactions are completed under 10 to 15 seconds, while the Bank Payment Settlement System is charged with the responsibility for processing bulk transactions with speed. This is how it all happens internally. When you send money from Opay to a bank account, Opay does not directly send a request to the recipient bank immediately. Instead, an API call is sent from Opay's backend to the Nigerian Instant Payment Systems API. And if the request returns a 200 response like OK, then the Nigerian Interbank Settlement System, which is the NIBSS, will then immediately route the transaction to the recipient bank in real time in less than 1 second. The recipient bank internal banking system will automatically credit the receiver's account. This particular approach bypasses traditional slow methods like FTP-based batch processing used in most old legacy banking systems. As soon as the recipient bank gets the request from the Nigerian Interbank Settlement System, the recipient bank instantly credits the receiver without even waiting to confirm the money from Opay. And now you might be wondering how this is even possible. Let me explain. Presently, Opay have pre-funded accounts with all the banks in Nigeria. So when you send money to a bank account, Opay immediately debits your wallet in memory, and the recipient bank immediately credits the customer from Opay's pre-funded account as soon as they get a signal from the Nigerian Interbank Settlement System. And this process happens in less than 1 second. So there is no need for the recipient bank to wait for payment confirmation from Opay before crediting the recipient. So after the recipient has received his money, settlement between Opay and the bank will happen later in the background. Alright, considering the fact that the Central Bank of Nigeria has issued a strong mandate that the Nigerian Instant Payment Service must ensure that transactions complete within 15 seconds, banks are now forced to optimize their system in order to avoid penalties from CBN. And this is another key factor in Opay's advantage, especially when it comes to financial transaction swiftness. Another thing that Opay has factored in to ensure swiftness and improve user experience is called the P99 optimization. Opay uses tools like Prometheus and Grafana to constantly monitor the app to ensure low latency. Opay constantly monitors the responsiveness of the app from when a user clicks on any button to how fast it gets credited from any bank. They also observe the response time from Nigerian Instant Payment Service Gateway. Alright, and also as I've mentioned earlier on, Opay's backend is hosted in Lagos Data Center, which is very close to the NIBSS. Even though Opay has made speed its priority, the company has also ensured that safety is not compromised for speed. To minimize financial fraud, Opay employs a multi-layer security strategy that combines technology and proactive controls. It has embodied several techniques to ensure that financial fraud is reduced to the barest minimum. Some of the measures in place are: number one, they use rate limiting. Alright, and what does this mean? So in Opay, if you notice, you can only do a maximum of 5 transfers per minute. Alright, so you are limited. Opay also use transaction PIN and biometric for authenticating users. They have also taken a bolder step to adopt AI-based fraud detection in their application. So your activities in the app is monitored by AI. If it detects any weird behavior or abnormal transaction patterns, it will immediately flag the transaction and notify Opay to take necessary actions. Now, Opay has also enforced daily transfer caps in order to ensure that speed does not compromise security. So there is a certain amount that you cannot exceed in a particular day. In summary, the real secret behind Opay's speed is not just Go, Redis or RPC. Alright? It is pre-funded accounts, instant payment rates, and careful system design. Opay refined the rules of money movement in Nigeria, and they achieved it through intensive architectural planning and financial engineering. You can do something similar or better than this. Follow for more.